I did was tell Mom how to hang a door. Dad, as dad. Why don't you tell me? Well, first you get the son of a bitch, then you slap the piece of shit up there, but it's too fucking small. So you shave a cunt hair off here and a cunt hair off there and put the goddamn thing up. Dad, as dad. That's it, young man. You go get a switch from the backyard. Johnny looks at his dad and says, "Little Johnny," as narrator. Fuck you! That's the electrician's job. One day, little Johnny is back from school early. He sees his parents lying above each other, naked, making love. His father also notices Johnny but continues as if nothing has happened, hoping little Johnny will ignore them. Little Johnny, as narrator. "Dad, can I have a horse ride on your back?" Unable to refuse his son's request, he says, "Dad, as dad, okay, get on." After some time, the lady starts moaning, groaning, and writhing. Little Johnny, as narrator, "Dad, hang on." This is when the milkman usually gets bucked off. Little Johnny was sitting in class one day. All of a sudden, he needed to go to the bathroom. Little Johnny, as narrator, "Miss Jones, I need to take a piss." Miss Jones, as Miss Jones. Now, Johnny, that is not the proper word to use in this situation. The correct word you want to use is urinate. Please use the word urinate in a sentence correctly, and I will allow you to go. Little Johnny thinks for a bit, then says, "Little Johnny, as narrator, you're an 8, but if you had bigger tits, you'd be a 10.
I need a man. I need a man. Narrator. A few months after his parents were divorced, little Johnny passed by his mum's bedroom and saw her rubbing her body and moaning.
Over the next couple of months, he saw her doing this several times. One day, he came home from school and heard her moaning. When he peeked into her bedroom, he saw a man on top of her. Little Johnny ran into his room, took off his clothes, threw himself on his bed, started stroking himself and moaning.
Oh, I need a bike. I need a bike.
One day, the teacher walks into her classroom and announces to the class that on each Friday, she will ask a question to the class, and anyone who answers correctly doesn't have to go to school the following Monday. On the first Friday, the teacher asks,
"How many grains of sand are in the beach?"
Needless to say, no one could answer. The following Friday, the teacher asked the class,
"How many stars are in the sky?"
and again, no one could answer. Frustrated, little Johnny decides that the next Friday, he would somehow answer the question and get a 3-day weekend. So Thursday night, Johnny takes 2 ping pong balls and paints them black. The next day, he brings them to school in a paper bag. At the end of the day, just when the teacher says,
Here's this week's question.
Johnny empties the bag to the floor, sending the ping pong balls rolling to the front of the room. Because they are young kids who find any disruption of class amusing, the entire class starts laughing. The teacher says,
Okay, who's the comedian with the black balls?
Immediately little Johnny stands up and says,
Bill Cosby, see you on Tuesday.